Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Ba'asham Racha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, and salutations to all you sincere. And this is your brother Bawan back again with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Ba'asham Racha Kodash. And it's something that happened, earlier this week, April 1st, 2024, according to the article. MAGA pastor says 200 Bibles set ablaze outside his church on Easter morning, right? And you had this situation happen, where you have 200 Bibles being burned right in front of a church. And this is this is I don't want to say common, but I was looking around trying to see if there was any other instance of this happening, right, around this Easter period. Really going into between the time that Putin opened the vaults and now, and you don't really see much else. It's all the same thing. Oh, this Tennessee church, right? And it's the same individual, which is this guy that you see his picture right here, that is always at the forefront. So it was only at his church this happened. So yeah, close to over 200 Bibles were burned by anonymous people inside of a truck, and it was shown early in the morning right in front of his church, for whatever reason, right? But of course, we can guess and we know the reason why this happened. And we can guess that or extrapolate that from certain, points. First and foremost, it being Tennessee in the south, and also going into, and it had just be the news article doing it by itself, but it says MAGA pastor. In other words, all these rural boy Edomites, and a lot of people have been saying, and even different brothers are also saying it as well, that, or at least that this happened because Putin opened the votes, and now Esau Edom has found out that, and I believe that that's the same. That is the reason why these Bibles were born too. That Esau Edom is finding out that the men of the Lord, right, the men in the Bible were so-called, right, Jake Israelites are so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. But of course, their primary focus is on the Negroes. Because as soon as Putin opened up that vault and you saw all those paintings and images, and you can't come out and say, oh, well, those are forgeries, those are fakes. Because the question now becomes, why would Russia paint, so-called Negroes and forge them for what, right? What purpose does that serve? And you'll find out that a lot of these paintings are super old, some of the earliest paintings that you find in Christianity. And what that painting also shows, something that, of course, brothers, of course, yeah, you only hear brothers that are in this truth, the men of the Lord going to, is that majority of those paintings were actually done in medieval Europe, right? Not, during, not, they were, it's not like they were done by Jacob who was still in the Holy Land before 70 AD or anything like that. The large portion of those paintings were done during medieval Europe. That is 12th century, 13th century type of time when Jake was ruling in Europe. So that shows you that even the people that were painting the images were also Jake, because that part can't be denied. You can't say that, oh well, it was a so-called white person that painted that, because that was not what happened. Because even the scriptures tells us that Esau Edom were actively removing the images of the men of the Lord and the true images of Jake and of the Israelites from the relics, from the historical records, right? And this is the reaction you see Esau Edom having when confronted with the idea that their religion, the God that they claim to worship and love, might actually be a dark-skinned man or a so-called Negro. After all, the color of JC doesn't matter. JC came for everybody. It doesn't matter what color he is, red, blue, green, orange, after all that. And this is what it becomes of it. So continuing on in the article, MAGA pastor says 200 Bibles set ablaze outside his church on Easter morning. And you're going to see more of this, where the pivot now jumps from attacking, wacky-tacky plantation Christianity, which you can all get behind, right, Two, going to the scriptures, and the reason why they are attacking the scriptures is because of the truth that is contained in the scriptures. And then ultimately, it will now once again go from you have the true Hebrew Israelites being exposed to the true wicked being exposed. So now more and more people will realize that, oh, this white man is Esau Edom. Oh, this is what the scriptures say concerning Esau Edom. Oh, the Most High is not going to show these people any mercy. And ultimately, you will find that a lot of you Edomite Christians, you Edomite evangelists, will realize that the scriptures are not for you, but they actively condemn you and also, prophesy of you going into slavery under the true Israelites according to those same scriptures. And that's when you really see Esau Edom blow the lead, right? And really, the reason why I'm doing this video is because these things that are happening, especially this Bible being born, it's showing you that the famine of the world is coming very soon, and also Jacob's trouble, because that's ultimately the highlight right there. Maga pastor says 200 Bible set ablaze. Jacob's trouble and the famine of the world is coming, right? Because once Esau Edom realizes that this truth has gone, you know, this truth how far this truth has gone, and how little or how much basically once these devils find out that they can't cover up or hide the truth anymore, they will actively begin to persecute and you know come against the men of the Lord in order to stop the truth from being pushed around the four corners of the earth. That's when you have your Jacob's trouble, and that's when you have your famine of the world. So let's go to that precept. Let's start with, I don't know what happened with the hold on. Let's start with the Slovakia. Oh, it's Slovakia. Let's start with the hold on. Wow, Slovakia. I forgot what I was even going to go into. Like I was saying, let's start with the famine of the word precept. And I actually went into this a little bit in a previous video, but let's get this a famine of hearing the word. A famine of the word, not really hold on. Here it is, Amos 8 verse 11. Behold, Amos 8 verse 11. Behold, the days come, saith Adawan Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it. Right? Because Esau Edom, with the bill that was put up between the bill that was passed in Canada, right, and what will eventually come into Babylon the Great as well. We know that the famine of the world is coming, and it will soon be illegal with the threat of prison time to actually prophesy, especially in Babylon the Great, right? Really in other parts of the Western world, and these times are coming. And now you see with this Bible burning that also Jacob's trouble is coming as well, because you just see how Esau Edom is behaving when they are confronted with just the idea, the possibility, because these devils still don't accept it as fact that the Lord, our Lord Yahweh and the Israelites may be so-called Negroes, right? So when the time comes, and it will, when it now becomes even more and more apparent that who the true Israelites are, who the true depiction and what our Lord Yahweh really looked like, when these things start to come to the forefront and it becomes undeniable, and they are going to see that Esau Edom is going to come hard against Jacob, and that's what is going to eventually lead to Jacob's trouble. And of course, we'll get all those precepts that are describing that. But let's go. Let me just read this article a little bit. A burning trailer full of Bibles was left outside an evangelical church in Tennessee on Easter morning, according to local police, with the church's far-right pastor denouncing it as a 100% deliberate act. Around 6 a.m. on Sunday, police and firefighters responded to a trailer fire at an intersection outside the Global Vision Bible Church in Mount Juliet, a city around 20 miles east of Nashville, according to the Wilson County's Sheriff's Office. Firefighters promptly extinguished the blaze, the sheriff official said in a news release. The trailer containing Bibles had been dropped off in the middle of the intersection and then intentionally set on fire, it said. No further details were immediately disclosed, with the sheriff's office citing the need to uphold the integrity of the ongoing investigation. And of course, you won't see this information coming out in the mainstream media, kind of like how that Edomite soldier basically set himself on fire in protest of really what's going on right now between the state of Israel and Palestine, which, of course, once again, another Bible prophecy, right? That's another prophetic event right there. Israel and Palestine. How does that go? One to the I do me. They want to the I parted my land. Let me just go and get the presets. Okay, I don't want to go and butcher it. Surely I have said this against the residue of the heathen, right? Against Idumea and the residue of the heathen that have parted my land. Here it is. So this is the book of Ezekiel 36, verse 5, and it reads, Therefore thus saith Adonai Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their hearts, with despiteful minds, to cast it out for a prey. Which of course is referring to the Holy Land, which you see how all of Esau Edom was confederate in handing over that land to Amalek, starting with the Balfour Declaration. That was the British government that approved of giving that land because they were the ones that claimed to be the owners, right, quote unquote owners of that land. Gave it to the small hearts after World War II. America, Babylon the Great, right, and all these UN and NATO nations confederate in making the state of Israel the biggest welfare state and also in protecting their quote unquote rights to live in the Middle East. Okay, and also all the other heathen that are living in that land as well. They have also, you see the Palestinians claiming that they are the rightful owners or the rightful inhabitants of that land, which of course is false because the land truly belongs to the Most High, Yahweh Basham Yahushai, and He gave it to Jake, our people, the Israelites, to dwell in that land. Right, but now that we've gotten the article and we have a little bit more context to what happened, right, why those Bibles were burned, which reminds me of the cross burnings that the you know who's did. Don't want to actually say those words because I'm sure that YouTube has it as a buzzword that's going to get your channel, shadow banned or something like that, right? Because not only were that group against our people, they were also against the small hearts as well, right? You can see that in the with the SPLC, that's the Southern Poverty Law Center. But anyway, that's what we are talking about. That ultimately are going to start seeing not just the famine of the world, being not just a sign of the famine of the world, but also of Jacob's trouble, right? Because the only connection and the only right, because there's a connection between Putin opening the vaults and showing those images of the saints and of the Israelites and of the men of the Lord to this church Bible burning happening. That shows you that Esau Edom is sharpening. And we already know this, of course. You've seen multiple Edomites come out and straight up admit it that they are getting ready for Jake, right? They are getting ready to, that once all hell breaks loose, they're going to start hunting, straight up admitting that, look, once all hell breaks loose, they're going to start going after Jake straight up, without even wasting any time. And that shows you the hatred, right, that Esau has for our people. And of course, we are close to that precept I want to bring out that goes into that. Ezekiel, the 35th chapter. So, this is the book of Ezekiel 35, and I'll start from verse 1. I'll start from the top. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith Adonai Yahweh, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate. Thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Right, and that shows you the level of hatred, and you even see it, you know, you see it more, of course, if you're living in Babylon the Great with these devils. But even outside of Babylon the Great, you can see the level of hatred that Esau Edom has for Jake. So now Ezekiel 35, verse 6. Therefore, as I live, saith Adawan Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Right? Because these devils weren't afraid to, as the scripture says, shed the blood of our people, right? And also all the people on the earth, but majorly because we know who we know who has been the most oppressed by the rulership of Esau Edom is Jake, right? But yeah, you've already gotten that. So let me go to this in the book of Second Esdras, the 16th chapter, because we're also coming into that time of Jacob's trouble, and of course, these devils will be actively looking for, who, the men of the Lord, of course, and that's really what Jacob's trouble will be about, right? That's really what Jacob's trouble will be about. So ultimately, try to how is what I'm looking for right now? To try to persecute the men of the Lord, as it is written. And let me go to that first. Let me start from there. That some of us shall be thrown into prison, right? Let me get that precept. Revelation 2, verse 10. Fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. The devil, of course, being being the false accuser, the slanderer, a physical human rather than the spiritual demon. So Revelation 2, verse 10 once again. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that he may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto life, and I will give thee a crown of life. And the 10 days, of course, represents a complete number of days, which is still going into Jacob's trouble. And the time is coming when these devils, and you know what? Let me just read it instead of saying it. So this is the book of Second Esdras 16, verse 70. For there shall come in every place and in the next city a great insurrection upon those that fear Yahweh. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear Yahweh. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. The same thing that Esau Edom did to our people in the Babylonian captivity, tried to do in the Medo-Persian captivity, and did once again in the Greek and Roman captivities. And you notice that trend right there? The four beasts, Esau Edom was always trying to fuck with our people and trying to, cause the destruction. That shows you the historical hatred these devils have for us. And they succeeded in Babylon. Of course, they didn't during the Medo-Persian captivity, right? You can read the book of Esther for that. Agag, Haman was an Edomite. That's they call Halaya Washing Yashai for that. And during the Greek captivity, which ultimately led to Hellenization, and the Roman captivity, which ultimately led to 70 AD. And it all ends the same way, with Esau Edom coming into our temple, taking away all the goodly treasures and forcing our people, right, to worship their own gods, Jupiter, Olympus. Let's get that precept. We are already in the book of, we're already going through the Apocrypha. So let's get that precept. That's in the Apocrypha. So this is the book of 2 Maccabees 6, verse 1. Not long after, this king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the law of their fathers and not to live after the laws of the Most High, and to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius, and that in Garizim of Jupiter the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place. The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people. For the temple was filled with riots and reveling by the Gentiles, who dallied with harlots and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places, and beside that brought in things that were not lawful. The altar also was filled with profane things which the law forbiddeth. Right. So it's not going to be the first time that Esau Edom has brought, Jacob's trouble upon our people, but this is going to be, right, a time that has never before been seen since there was a time on the earth. Going back to the book of Jeremiah, the 30th chapter, where the main prophecy of Jacob's trouble actually came from. But let's see if I finish reading this. Right, I'm already getting that part. So let me close out with this. I should be the book of Jeremiah, the 30th chapter. Okay. So we are coming into those times, man. And this is, like this, like the apostle Tahar said, this might be the year of Jacob's trouble. We have faith that this could be the year, right? But anyway, continuing on. Jeremiah 30, verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So with that, I'll end the video right there. Once again, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Racha Kwadash, Wa Abad Babal Shalom.